I do a leadership talk and 10 points on leadership, and I talk about the preciousness of other people. And I think that's incredibly important in leadership. And so the example that I use is this story about Bear Bryant. And so I went to the University of Alabama my second year of school. I stayed home. I was one of those kids that started school. I started college when I was 16, then turned 17. I went to community college for a year, and then I went to Alabama. So I was in the band. I played in the band. Bear Bryant, at that point in time, that was 1978, 79. That was my first year. And Bear Bryant was on the way to 315. If you know anything about football and that achievement, he was on his way to 315 wins. And this was when school started before Labor Day. My dad's birthday is September the 6th. And so my dad and I have always had an awesome relationship with him. So I'm there. I'm a sophomore. I'm at band camp. My dad's birthday's coming up. And how much money do I have as a sophomore in college? Zero. So I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to get my dad for his birthday? So my dad's a big Alabama fan, born and raised in the state of Alabama. And so I'm thinking, and of course, again, you put yourself back when you're, 17, 18 years old, right? You can do anything. Anything. You can do anything. You're untouchable. And, so I'm like, I know what I'm going to do because it's free, right? I'm going to go to Bear Bryant's office and I'm going to get an autographed picture of Bear Bryant. I'm sure he's got, probably they got a drawer. They just pull them out of the drawer, they sign it, they give it to you. How hard can this be? Now, again, doing that with Nick Saban would be another thing but I after band camp one day, I went to the athletic department. I actually got in to the office. So I go in there and I sit down, and there's this nice lady, and she said, I tell her what I want. And again, I'm kind of surprised because I'm thinking when I tell her this, she's just going to pull it out of the drawer and give it to me. But she says, just a minute. And she goes in this door and closes the door behind her. And I sit there. She comes back out with the words that shocked my brain. She said, "The coach will see you now." Okay, now here's another thing. I'm one of those guys was a proverbial late bloomer when I was in school, right? So when I was 17 years old, I looked like I was 12, right? And so I was probably all of about 5'3" and about 105 pounds soaking wet. So I could do absolutely zero for Bear Bryant, zero. There, as much as I would have wanted to, right? I couldn't. So I'm shocked. She says, the coach will see you now. So she ushers me into this room, which is, mahogany everywhere on the walls, trophies everywhere. And so he's sitting behind this big old desk with these two leather chairs on the other side. And he stands up, he comes out, and he gets one of those chairs and he puts it over on the side of his desk, right? And he asked me to sit down. So I sit down. I mean, my eyes are like, and so I sit down. He's chatting with me, asking me about how long I've been in school, how long do I like it, blah, 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 how long I've been an Alabama fan. So anyway, long story short, he asked me what I wanted, and I told him. I said, it's my dad's birthday on September 6th, and he's a big Alabama fan, and I'd like to have an autograph picture of you. So he signs it, and, it says to Jerry Wilkes. Okay, wait, hold on. Can you see that? Okay, so that's it. I just thought about that while I was sitting there talking. All right, so now here's the funny part. What did I not get before I left his office? One for me, right? So did not get one for me. So this has always been in my dad, who is still alive, 90 years old. And finally, they moved 3 years ago. And I said, look, I don't know what you're going to do with that, but that's mine when you get finished. But yeah, so, I was probably in there for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, felt like 10 hours. And so part of the reason I tell that in my story is because, again, what I say is I could do nothing for Bear Bryant, right? But Bear Bryant knew that by taking 10 minutes with this punk kid who worshiped at the ground that he walked on, the ripple effect of that experience for me was felt through my whole lifetime. And like I say, when I do my leadership talk, how many times you think I've told that story, and it's because he took the time, and he didn't need to do that. He probably didn't have that 10 minutes, right? And so again, as leaders, it's incredibly important, the ripple effect that we can have on people's lives by just taking the time to engage with them, right? And that's what he taught me in that story. So yeah, that's my story. And you got to see the picture.